Marshall skips away, Marshall skips away, Marshall's still going, Marshall's got Richards coming up outside, now inside.
Arsenal have gone through an entire league campaign without losing.
Bennett and the Dragons win the grand final.
Whips that one away, and Kane Williamson and his team now World Test champions.
Welcome back to another episode of the TGIF podcast. Thank God it's footy. How's the week treated you, my bro? You're sitting there with a good one on the board.
We're off the bottom of the table, so we're bloody good. Thank you very much. It was nice there to start Saturday off. Starting, first game on your Saturday doesn't often happen very much, and then to go out there and pull off,
something sweet Saturday for you.
Some may call it an
back
upset.
to back.
Results. Yeah, well, I mean, I think I don't want to say Warriors were unlucky, but there was a bit of fucking a couple of calls I think that were pretty well. First Sinbin, I can't remember actually which Sinbin happened first. There was one Sinbin I think that was a little bit dubious.
The Montoya one happened first,
and that was the dubious one. Whereas the second one was unlucky, but it was definitely a sin bin. There's no doubt about it. People saying because it's unlucky that it shouldn't be a sin bin and things like that. That was definitely 10 in the bin. And Hughes ended up tearing them apart. But no, it was good. It's any time the Tigers get a win, it doesn't happen very often. It's a good weekend, and yeah, off the bottom of the table, leapfrogging the Titans there, and hopefully we can go out there, make it 2 in a row. Break. I think it's I don't know how many games in a row it is, maybe 10, 11 games in a row that we've lost to the Raiders. I think it's the second longest in our losing streak behind the Storm Warriors one.
Yeah.
So hopefully go out there, break that this weekend, 2 on the trot, Para lose again. Or do they have to bye this weekend actually, I think. There's a few teams.
I'm fairly sure they do, yes.
Yeah, they do. So there'll be no leapfrogging there. But if we can go out there and make it 2 on the trot, I'll be a happy chappy. Sunday, 6 PM. Last game of the round.
Also, game of the round going away
for a while. Yeah, which is always a bugger, but it's always nice. It's a nice way to end the week. Bad way to start the week if it is a loss. But I'll be sitting myself down 6 o'clock Sunday, right on dinner time. Slightly early dinner, but peak time. I think to finish the week off with a bang. Hopefully.
Fingers crossed for the Tigers' sake.
It'd be a lovely warm-up for Origin.
Yeah,
lovely,
leading into Origin.
Lovely
you'll be in a good
game
mood, that's for sure. Speaking of Origin, we've had the Game 2 squad's been announced.
No Tigers again. I've got to say I'm a little bit worried with...
no huge shocks.
No Steph. I'm a little bit worried for our sake.
Yeah, the old contract
that contract clause may come into play.
I've heard you've been throwing big money at him.
Oh, I'd like to hope so.
So, depending on his priorities, whether it is securing that good contract or...
Lockie Galvin running off the back of some of his running, it'll be... it's what we're after, I think. So, but yeah, no Tigers for two rounds in a row. I think highly unlikely we see any included for round 3. All depends, I guess, what the result is in this one. If New South Wales go out there and lose again, maybe you do see Steph called in for Game 3. Uppy again possibly comes in then at that stage, or they don't bother, maybe with it already being done and dusted by that stage. But couple of inclusions there. Obviously coming in there after losing, Dylan Edwards, he's fit. So he comes back in.
Yeah, not a huge surprise.
Was the plan all the time, I guess?
Yeah, obviously was going to start that first game with the fact Tedesco didn't play the house down. He probably had to go back to Edwards again. He hasn't done anything wrong to lose that spot, and I don't think Teddy really put his name in golden lights, certainly to keep that spot. So shout out Dylan Edwards, hope his debut goes well. A couple of returnees for the Blues, callbacks, Mitchell squared, Moses and Latrell.
Yep.
Rounding out a backline which looks like it's got a little bit more sort of flair to it. With the likes of Latrell there, the X Factor.
Playing well when he needed to.
Yeah, I think Queensland will be a little bit more worried about what's coming at them in this one, particularly if New South Wales can keep 13 men on the field.
Yeah, well, that's obviously a big thing.
Line,
so,
Queensland have stuck solid in their backs. We see the same lineup for them, which is
no need to change it.
No surprises there.
No need to change it. I don't think at all. That Queensland team, it's pretty. I think you've gone out and you've won, and unless there's an injury or anything like that, then you can make a change. But
yeah, the one change they have made, obviously, Capewell comes in for Selwyn Cobbo to play that utility spot on the bench, which is interesting. Cobbo, if you listen to what Billy Slater says, is apparently rolling around with a few niggles. So obviously not good to go into Origin there, but Kurt Capewell, we've seen him perform for Queensland centre, back row, no matter where it is really, so it's a pretty clever choice from Billy there. It's got outside back cover, he can come on
in
play in the middle if he wants, probably, yeah, I don't know, push Sewer into the middle if you want to play him in the back row.
Oh, a bit of rotation there, exactly. So
that's what I want to do there. But
smart little play from
Footy there as well into the 17. I believe he was 18th man.
Not too sure on that one. But I think there's no reason to go out there and change it up when you've got a winning recipe there. I think there's obviously Capewell in there for Cobbo, a few niggles, good little play, but smart from Billy. I think sticking with the tested there from game one, but
switching up his reserves a little bit there. Shout out Trent Liero, getting his maiden call up, as well as Helen Lukey.
Yeah,
two squad there, two promising young
fellas playing some good footy at the moment. Helen Lukey was awesome on the weekend. Couple more changes there for the Blues though as well. Cam Murray coming in and taking that lock role.
Yeah, I mean no surprises that Cam Murray comes into the side. A little bit interesting that it is in that lock position at the expense of Cam McInnes. I thought he was
played well.
Yeah, pretty good as well, and yeah, definitely a player that is built for Origin, so unlucky to miss out, but can't blame him for bringing a player like Cam Murray back into the side. Probably offers a little bit more on attack than the likes of McInnes. You look at that back row now for New South Wales, Martin, Crichton and Murray, plenty of oomph there, plenty of X factor as well. Those three boys can all come up with a try.
Yep.
Leniu retains his spot on the bench. Yo's on the bench as well, but New South Wales have brought in Connor Watson to play that utility role.
Yeah, very
interesting one.
Very interesting call, I reckon.
Unlucky on old Matty Burton to miss out on the spot, I reckon. But I suppose Connor Watson does play that 14 role very well for the Roosters. He can cover, in the 9, 13, halves at a pinch. I've heard he came through playing in the halves. So
yeah, I mean you could chuck him in everywhere. He's kind of got that skill set where he can do a little bit of everything. He's good defensively. He's good with the ball in hand. So. It is a slightly interesting one, but obviously Roosters playing some good footy at the moment, and he's playing that role well, and probably also helping that he's playing well at a time when Brandon Smith possibly not playing his best footy.
Yeah, and also lots of chat around the whole missing the team meeting debacle there for Brandon Smith. So yeah, Connor Watson, I guess, is the benefactor of that situation, gets himself a debut blue jersey, good on him. Plenty of debate over it, but I suppose we'll see how it all unfolds on Wednesday night.
Next Wednesday night, 8 days away. There was obviously we got to get back into a full round of footy there last weekend, which was lovely, and we have managed to pull out 13 of the best from last week. Now, man, we were just speaking about coming into form at the right time. Latrell Mitchell looking back to his best there in that Bunnies win on the weekend.
Yeah, he was pretty good. Probably not back to his barnstorming best that we've ever seen him, but definitely getting there.
He was pretty close to stages there on the weekend.
He scored an awesome try. He definitely spurred South to that win over Brisbane, so New South Wales will be hoping for some of that form. That's for sure. Brian To'o, another man who's going to line up with him in the New South Wales jersey.
Over 200 something plus metres there on the weekend. Pretty stock standard from Brian To'o.
I was just going to say.
Carl Felt scoring a screamer of a try there. We actually saw two on the weekend. I can't remember who scored the second. But we saw two that were just outrageous. But Carl Felt's try was it was amazing. It topped off a lovely little move, and just to be able to finish like that. And he's been scoring tries like that for years.
Cowboys record try scorer.
That was probably
one of his top few tries. His latest one there, an awesome effort. Justin Olam as well. No stranger to the try line. That's bagging himself a double. First game we won, he scored a try. The second game we won, he scored a double, and now the third game we've won, he scored a double. So I don't know if that possibly means the next time we win is not going to be until he maybe scores a hat trick, or whether it means if he scores a double, hopefully we're going to continue on this winning route. So, I also don't know the stats on doubles scored to games lost. There possibly could be. That could be leading currently because he has got himself a few middies this year. And who'd be fun with another player who had an awesome game there on the weekend, pretty instrumental there for the Finns. Yeah, pretty tasty looking centres pairing if you ask me. And we go into the halves now. Cody Nikorima and Jarom Hughes was the man of the moment at Mount Smart on Saturday night there. Absolutely tore the Warriors to shreds at stages there. And obviously
3 try assists, I think it was.
Enjoys a little trip to New Zealand.
Yeah, loves to come back and have a game there. Obviously a few more fans possibly for him there, a few more of the whānau. So pretty tasty looking backline. Joining them in that forward pack, we've gone for a props pairing of Big Steph Utoikamanu and Ruben Cotter. Both blokes there, Steph.
Yin and yang, I suppose, in terms of body shape when it comes to front rowers, but 2 solid performances, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Didn't catch too much of the Cowboys game, but Steph definitely made the difference over his second stint for the Tigers there, I thought, and keeping you guys in good position to pull that one home.
Joining them in there, slotting in between them, Damien Cookie taking that hooking role. Another player who was pretty instrumental there in that.
Yeah, another one who, a little bit of a flashback to the past, some of his best form. Yep. You know, you get Cookie a little bit of momentum through the ruck, a few quick play the balls, and he's off, which is what we saw for him on Friday night there. It was good to see for him, especially if you are red and white minded like myself, with the news that we've apparently offered him a tasty looking 2-year contract. Whether or not we see Damien Cook come down.
Interesting. I hadn't seen that. That'd be a handy little snag there. And then rounding out the team there for the week, your back rowers were Olakau'atu seems to be never present in the team.
Yeah, unfortunately, was a key part of Manly absolutely tearing the Dragons apart late in that second half there, and Katoa sort of started the comeback for Melbourne.
Loves a try.
With a great try.
Yeah, loves a meaty Katoa. He's nearly a shoo-in every week, I think, if you're going for a forward to score a try. And Kalamatangi rounding out the team, taking that lock and roll. I was a little bit torn, wanting to go for the big red Alex Seyfarth. Now, had a shocker last week, but I thought came out there and just completely turned it around against the Titans there. But Kalamatangi takes the spot. That is your round 15 team of the week. Obviously, in the Origin period, we're into those shitty short rounds.
Yeah.
5 games this week. We've got a Friday. We've still got a Super Saturday, so that's ideal. It's what you're after. And the one Sunday game, no Thursday night footy, which means we kick off at 10 p.m. our time, Friday night, with a bit of a top 4 battle. No. Did Finn
Dolphins slip out after only a 2.1? But
Finn slip out to 5th, I believe, was it? Yeah. But basically it's if... No.
Yeah, that's still... Because they won.
No, yeah, they're fine. I thought possibly they'd slipped out for some reason. They had it when I'd last looked at some stage over the weekend. Yeah, top 4 battle. Finn's up against Melbourne. Melbourne heading on up to Brizzy there. So obviously, yeah, a win there for the Finns and a big win there for the Storm. So that's how you get into the top 4. You keep winning games.
Yeah, 2 away wins for both sides last week. Pretty impressive performances. The Dolphins coming out to a very hot start, 22-0 they led before Cronulla clawed them back. And then Hammer, game on the line. 6 defenders he beat, runs 100 metres, scores probably the try of the decade so far, you've got to say. Since the clock turned over to 2020, it was an outstanding individual effort. Maybe Tommy scored a better one on that ridiculous run. I remember one where he beat like 8 Cowboys defenders. But
Alex Twell's first try was pretty good. I think that's probably going to be up there with
moment of the decade.
In terms of tries of the decade, I think you could put Twiley's first try up there. But yeah, no, it was a scorcher of a try there from the Hammer.
It was insane, 100 metres.
But yeah, real hot start for the Finns, and then I think we'll be a little bit disappointed how they let Cronulla back into that game. But Sharkies did seem to switch it on sort of once that, like it was like a switch was flicked, and then yeah, all of a sudden Sharkies started playing obviously what's got them to where they are in the table, but not obviously doing enough come the end of the game, falling short, but it'll be a tough ask.
A moment with a chance to send it to Golden Point, just throwing the converted wide.
It'll be a tough ask, I think, though. Welcoming Melbourne in this one.
Yeah, it always is. Especially when they're in this sort of form, they're racking up heaps of points. It's definitely a different sort of Melbourne Storm than we're used to. Those grinding results. We've seen the likes of Jarome Hughes just sort of blow teams
a little
away.
bit. You've got a bit more flair rather than that standard Storm grunt, Far longer. He's got that
far longer.
That's
so
something
good,
about him, which is just awesome. So,
a couple of tries was it for him up against the Warriors last week?
2, I think. Yeah.
So yeah, he's in fine form. He'll have to be careful whipping out those loose Fijian dives though.
That was
winded himself. You don't want to go puncturing on lung.
Yeah, that was full on. So
I'm sure Bellamy would have given him a spray after seeing the fact he pulled up a bit lame after that effort.
100%. It was it didn't look good there for a stage, but it's a hard one to pick. But I do think with that sort of, I've just seen your pick, and then I've kind of just also realised that squads will be a little bit depleted there.
Yeah, Dolphins, a few key players.
Due to Origin, and I kind of wasn't really thinking that when I put my bet in. But because of my second bet, there's no way I can change anything up there. So I am leaning towards, I think, full squads. I backed the Dolphins after seeing how they were good on the attack last week. Dolphins 1-12 into Herbie. 9:36. I'm now more certain about Herbie scoring a try with some of their players that they'll be missing. He'll have to step up. But I'm less certain now about Dolphins winning 1-12.
Look, it's a good shout. $9.36, not bad value, but yeah, can't look past the fact that Melbourne aren't really missing too many key players. If any, really, are they? I mean, you've got
Harry Grant
missing, yeah, obviously a big one for them, and Coates.
So they're not really
like. I just back them out. I don't know. I just think, yeah. Actually, now that I say Harry Grant and Coates, probably does leave just as big a hole as Hammer and Kafusi.
Yeah, I think
Melbourne have the depth and the
they've got the depth. But I think Harry Grant, that's definitely a big loss.
It's a huge one,
not having him out there, especially when he's only going out to come off the bench for Queensland, you know. It's a bit of a flip of a coin, this one. It's whether or not the Finns are really in this minor premiership race. Then they go out there and they win this one.
Statement,
yeah. Or whether it's just kind of, I want to say typical of Melbourne. It's not necessarily typical of Melbourne. It is of the last maybe 15 years, but in the most recent sort of 4 or 5 years, we haven't seen that, obviously, with this dominance of Penrith. So yeah, it's a slight flip of a coin, I guess.
Yeah, I've gone the other side of the coin and budged it over a bit. I've gone for Melbourne 13 plus into Jaron Hughes to score. It's only going to bag you 6-16, but I just back him to have a big game in this one. Lead Melbourne to another maybe 14-point win there. Maybe not a huge one, but with the likes of Hammer missing, I think the Dolphins might struggle to find that attacking spark a little bit more than what Melbourne will. But
yeah. We'll have
that one game for Friday night.
We'll have to wait and see come Friday, exactly. A Super Saturday. It's pretty good to see we've still got a full Super Saturday. Kicking it off over there on the Gold Coast, the Warriors heading over to take on the Titans. Obviously, both teams there coming away after the loss.
Yeah, both teams are reeling after last week.
The TI, the engravers of the spoon, I think have locked in TI currently. Yet to put on a T or a G in there, maybe slightly leaning towards that T now, possibly. The spoon battle, you could call it there last week.
Spoon bowl, early spoon bowl potentially.
Titans coming up short, falling away, and my Tigs coming out on top. It was a nervy 80 minutes, I got to say. There were stages there where it didn't look like we were going to be able to come away with a win, but a couple of young fellas on debut who I thought gave it a real good crack. I think we had 3 games of NRL experience on our bench, I think, something like that.
That's ridiculous.
So something crazy. Steph was one of the most experienced forwards, and I think he's played 66 games. So they were talking about a shout for the youngest team, like average age team in our history. They were saying on the commentary there.
Yeah.
I don't know what the stats were on that, but I'd say it's going to be pretty close. We might have had and we didn't have Galvin out there either.
Games experience.
Yeah. If we'd had Galvin out there too, that would have even been that little bit younger.
Yeah. Galvin instead of I suppose
Caesar
De Silva.
Well, we had, and he brings that age down. Yeah. But let's say we had no Caesar, and you've got Galvin and Uppy, 6 and 7, and then Talon's still in there, drop it down a little bit more. But very, very young team, and managing to get the 2 points at the end. So Titans will be. Dizzy's going to be a little bit disappointed, I think, in that one. It would have been an expected win. I think most teams would expect to win up against the Tigers.
Look, it's a tough one to take for the Titans. They are well and truly in the thick of the spoon battle now, which, look, not too many people would have picked with Desi coming into the helm. I know I certainly didn't, but yeah, look, well in the thick of it now, so they'll have to bounce back. I mean, there were signs there that they had a few moments, but yeah, it's a tough performance, and coming up against a Warriors side that, apart from losing at home to Melbourne, have gone pretty well the last few weeks. Look to have turned a corner again in their season after having turned a bad one earlier. So who knows if this momentum swings back the Warriors' way in this one. It's a good opportunity for them up against the last place side, but yeah, the Titans picking up the win over the Warriors on Anzac Day as well.
They've beaten them already this year, the Titans.
They're not missing big day for Footy, so that's a big bonus for them. Him missing out on Origin squad again. It's a tough one to pick, I reckon.
I think both teams after a bounce back.
I think I've probably got to go for the Warriors, just off the fact if you average out the last sort of 4 or 5 weeks, they've been playing well. Started pretty hot against Melbourne as well before Jarom Hughes got his fingerprints all over that one and Fa'alogo. So definitely a different class of opposition after going up against the team top to the team that's at the bottom. But the Warriors, they're missing Mitch Barnett and Kurt Capewell for this one, so that's 2 pretty big misses for them in the forwards.
Yeah, it's an opportunity there, I think, for the Titans. I think actually, when they're on the opposite side of the coin, they're coming up against the Warriors team who are missing 2 of their bigger names. At a time when the Warriors haven't been as good as what maybe people were expecting them to be. So you don't know what you're going to get when it comes to the Warriors. Obviously, they'll be after a bit of revenge, having already lost earlier on in the season. But yeah, no Mitch Barnett, no Capewell. It's going to be a tough ask. I think Titans are going to be just as keen to bounce back, having lost to the team that was in last place. So I think it's both teams are in with a shout on this one. I think it could be a tough trip for the Warriors come Saturday.
We'll see how it plays out. I'm backing them with the bookies as well in a close one, 1-12 into nickel Clubstar to cross the line. It's going to get you 668.
Yeah, no, I'm on the other end of the coin, and once I'd seen what the odds were for this one, there was no way I was changing anything. I've gone Titans 1-12 into Keanu Kinney, and that's also going to pay me like the last one, $9.36.
Yeah, back to back.
Back to backs. I don't know if I've ever had that before. And then I then ended up with this Roosters Doggies game. I played around with it as much as I could to try and get 9.36 again.
Yeah, couldn't manage it.
So I just reverted back to my original thinking. But I think I got to 9.39, and it didn't matter really what I changed. I couldn't get it down to 36. But a hat trick of those, and I think I was locked in with 3 wins to start the round. But they obviously, Roosters Doggies being the 3rd game. Then that's your middle game of your Super Saturday. Now the Doggies coming in fresh, they had to bye, and the Roosters also getting the 2 points over the weekend. Victors over the Eels.
I think it was 5th versus 6th. It does too. Both teams sitting there on 18 points.
So another
a good game.
And another huge battle. I mean, over the last few years, you see Roosters Doggies on the card there, and you're thinking maybe
the Roosters a good chance to rack up 50 points.
Yeah, something big like that. Still, every chance that could happen now, because the Roosters have been playing some very, very good attacking footy. But the Doggies, they've been building for a little wee while. People are saying each start of each year that they're looking good, but this year things are starting to click, and who would have thought, over halfway through the season you'd see the Doggies in the top 8 and, pushing on for a top 4 spot.
Yeah, no matter who you want to give the credit to, if it's the players out there that they've brought in, Serraldo, the new coach, his plans coming to fruition, or whether it's the Grand Master Phil Gould, they're all doing their part, I suppose, because the Doggies, they're all the way up in 6th, the dizzy heights for them compared to the last few seasons, which is great for them. They'll be missing Stephen Crichton, their skipper, which is a big miss for them. But yeah, I still think they've got plenty of resilience Plenty of other leaders have come out over the last, whatever we've had, 14 odd rounds, and they're looking really good this year. I reckon they're every chance to finish the season, if not in the top 8, maybe with 5th or 6th with a home semi.
If I'm picking my top 8 at the moment, Doggies are in there. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, the way they're playing with the likes of Matty Burton, Josh Addo-Carr, Kickout, Crichton, you know,
something's clicked, and they're seeming to be able to, you know, go into those gritty games and, you know, grind out a win, which you're probably not expecting of the Doggies recently. So it's a different Doggies team, but it is also a Roosters team who, like you said, you know, putting 50 points on. They were averaging, they scored 100 points over two rounds.
Yeah, Anzac though, they scored
60 against you and then 40, you know, so they've been pretty on going forward. So it will be tough for the Doggies. But I think, they've got, you know, you want to back the Doggies in this one, you've got every reason to, I think.
Yeah, I think this one is, probably a flip of a coin. You might give it to the Roosters. With that home advantage, probably a little bit more big names across the park as well. The Doggies are every chance in this one. The Chooks coming off a good win over Parramatta as well. I think possibly come the end of the season, you might see the Roosters usurping the likes of maybe Cronulla, seeing how they go, or the Dolphins in that top 4. But yeah, look, it should be a great game, this one. I've probably got to give my money to the Roosters if I had to, but had to steer clear of a result in this one. Just going back to a 3-try special. It came off second game last week, so let's hope it can come off third game this week. Matty Burton, James Tedesco and Joey Manu, 3 big names, 3 tries, $12.53. You're going to scoop for that one.
Yep, not bad at all. I am leaning towards the Roosters in this one. It was very, very close. Again, I did actually swap around and get the Doggies involved and see what I could get out to 9.36, but to no avail. So it's a Roosters 1-12 into Victor Radley, and that's going to be 10.96. So a nice close Roosters win for me in that one there. Leads you into Souths up against Manly. That's your third game, your last game of your Saturday evening. Obviously both teams getting the 2 points there last week, but 2 teams not in the 8 at the moment. Am I correct in saying that?
Manly might be in they
are 8th.
Yeah.
Because of that draw, that's right. And even then would be just on points difference over Brisbane. But obviously Souths looking like maybe they've turned a slight corner.
6 points from the last 3 weeks for them.
Yep.
A really impressive win over Brisbane. That's what I sort of said last week, I believe. It was a lot tougher task than, what was it, the Titans the week before?
I think so, yeah.
A lot tougher task, but they came out with flying colours, I reckon, coming out to an impressive 22-0 lead off the likes of Damien Cook and Latrell Mitchell, absolutely tearing the house down. But Brisbane were a bit flat in that one, I thought. So, yeah, Souths, while they may have turned a corner, still a lot to go if they want to end up anywhere near that top 8. I think they'll have to go for another 3 game on the bounce, and hope some other results definitely go their way. Still sitting 5 points behind the top 8 there, so a lot of work to do, but they probably have the players to do it.
Yeah, we saw Newcastle go on that big run there last year.
Yeah,
what was it, 9-10 on the trot? I think
the likes of Latrell, Cam Murray, Damien Cook, Cody Walker.
Missing the trial is going to be rough for them.
Campbell Graham will be back towards the back end of the season too. At some stage, I believe, around 19, 20.
Murray as well. I didn't think of that too. No Murray or Latrell for the Bunnies.
That's the thing. No Cam Murray, no Latrell Mitchell. Manly obviously missing 2 very influential players.
Huge outs.
The 2 skippers.
Chuck Olakawadu into the mix there. I had completely forgotten about Jakey there. I was thinking DCE and Olakawadu. But yeah, the 2 skippers, Olakawadu. Anyone else there from Manly involved? No, I don't think so. But three huge outs for Manly there in this one. And
3 huge outs for Manly, 2 huge outs for South as well. Manly, no, they were impressive on Sunday afternoon at home up against the Dragons, who probably didn't offer the best performance in the second half there, but DCE, the master at work. Manly coming home strong with the win, with 13 players that were fit. Corey Waddell was out there hobbling on one leg for most of the game, as well as
down to bare threads by the end of it.
No, it was Paseka. Ruben Garrett got off with a double HIA.
Yeah, well, his first one he came back on, and then it didn't take much longer until he went back off again, and grade 1 announced straight away, I believe it was. That's the way it goes.
He got up and fell over, stumbled over, and I was like, oh god, that's not good.
Oh yeah, well, is it grade 1 though, the worst one, or is that grade 3?
Yeah, grade 1.
But they not long after he went off the field, they were saying it over the commentary there. So, does that mean he misses this week?
Yeah, as long as it's not 11 days.
So,
11 days.
Yeah, it's a rough one there for Manly. Few players missing, and yes, although we did see, I guess, Latrell sort of inspire that win there for the Bunnies. I do think Souths will be thinking that it's in their favour going into this one. Yeah. Seeing that team list.
Some big outs for Manly, I think, is the key for South in this one. They'll have to capitalise. They've still got some big name players that in years gone by have been in Origin teams, the likes of Cookie, Walker and Whiten. You chuck AJ into the mix.
Getting that experience.
Getting the monkey off the shoulder, or the Billy Slater off his shoulder. He's got Ken Irvine in his sights well and truly now. Yeah, I think Souths probably just have to be favourites in this one, even though Manly overall have been playing the better footy. It's just some huge outs for them, and Souths the last couple of performances have been pretty tasty for them.
I think when you look at that, we know what Manly are like, missing Tommy Turbo, how much of an effect that can have on them, and I think there's just too many players missing in this one for Manly to take the win. But I've got a bit of a Tigers tinge on my bet this week. I want to say that I wasn't really too sure of who to pick, but Brooksy got himself a try last week, so I chucked him in there. When you've got your multis in there and you go for a single bet, it can often screw yourself up a little bit, because it just makes your bets go a little bit weird. Yeah. So I had to chuck someone else in there. And so Tane Milne, another ex-Tiger. So both of those to cross the try line, and 17.78 you'll get returned. So
juicy value for that one. I've gone for Souths 1 to 12 into AJ and Whiten. It's going to get you $13.76. So yeah, not as much value there. But Brooks and Milne, should they cross the try line, you'll be a happy chappy with that. $18 if we're rounding up there. Good stuff. Takes us into Sunday.
The game of the round.
Game of the round.
Game of the round. The Tigers up against Canberra now. Where's this one being played? I'm going to go out and say possibly Campbelltown if we're... It is at Campbelltown. Another stadium where, what is it? I think we're 10 on the trot that we've lost, or something like that. If we're I want to say, what's the Warriors Storm streak? Was that 15 games?
It was, yeah.
So it's 16 now. So maybe we are. I think we might be 11 in a row that we've lost to Canberra there. So
11 in a row to Canberra, 10 in a row to Campbelltown.
We were 9 in a row last week.
It's bad omens.
It's not good omens. But we do see a couple of players return. A couple of players named back in. Adam Dewey and the extended squad managed to play for the Magpies there last weekend, getting through unscathed. So whether we get to see him involved there on the weekend could be quite interesting. What sort of role he's going to come in and play when he does. Lockie Galvin back though, that's big. Means Uppy can go back to his usual role at hooker, and hopefully, go for 2 on the bounce ideally.
Look, it'll be a tough ask up against the Canberra side, who will be reeling after a big loss at home to North Queensland, 34-16 there. North Queensland getting out to a huge lead there. What was it, 24-26-0, 28-0?
Yeah, something
like that.
Something outrageous. It was a very, very big leader, but similar to that the Dolphins game where they just sort of ran away with it at the start. So yeah, Sticky will definitely be pretty disappointed with that game there. And they'll be wanting to bounce back. They'll be thinking it's a nice time or a nice team to play. When you're looking to bounce back up against the Tigers, but we're kind of at that stage where we've got nothing to lose. So I don't see why we don't go out there and throw everything at them at this one. A couple of players, possibly maybe a Steph, Uppy, go out there to show, man, why'd you not go out there and pick me this weekend? So I'm hoping for a little Tigers win. It'd be an ideal way to sign off the week. Canberra were my spooners at the start of the year. Obviously, it isn't looking like it's going to be anything like that now. But maybe this is the start. Maybe this is the start of continuous run of losses until the end of the season, and it comes true. We'll have to wait until Sunday, I guess.
Very, very out there call, but you never know what can happen.
You never say never.
Yeah, I don't know. I like the Tigers at home in this one off the back of a win. Confidence will be high. Obviously, not missing anyone for either side in this one this time around in the Origin squad. So both teams, you'd say, at full strength, barring injuries and suspensions. Yeah, look, shapes up to be a decent game, I reckon. Should the Tigers turn up and play some good footy, because I think Canberra, yeah, look, that if you give them a chance, I think Joey Tapine will be ripping through the middle.
I reckon as long as we score more than 14, that's been our struggle this year. We scored 18 and won.
Points,
we score more than 14 points, and I think we'll get the win. I think defensively in games, we haven't been too shabby at stages, but it's been the go forward, it's been the silly areas, it's been the multiple sin bins in a game. So if we can keep 13 on the park the whole game, score more than 14 points, I'm banking a Tigers win, I reckon.
Yeah, look, I can see it happening. And I've chased a bit of value as well in this one. So I have gone for the Tigers.
Gone for the old favourite.
To pull up a 1-12. Buller involved with a meaty, of course, $8.23.
Yep, I like it. I don't know the last time we've either of us have gone for a Tigers 13 plus. It's probably been a lot. You possibly may have never ever picked a Tigers 13 plus on the podcast.
I don't think I've ever put money on the Tigers to win 13 plus.
I definitely have, but I don't know if there's a high chance I've never put Tigers 13+ on the body. So I've gone the 1 to 12 as always, and Juzzy Olam to continue that try scoring form, and that's going to get you 737. But it leaves you with, what's that, 1, 2, 3, 6 teams banking the free 2 points there this weekend. The Broncos, they'll be happy to take that 2 points after that loss to the Bunnies. Get in, had a bit of a rest. Probably a bit of extra training for those lads that aren't at Origin. I'm not too sure what the plan will be there, but
yeah, I don't think Kevy will be too happy with the performance. The fact they've slipped out of the 8 is definitely
3 poor games in a row.
Not a good sign for the Broncos after many tipped them to go on and win the premiership this year. So yeah, they'll be hoping for
they'll be crying for Adam Reynolds to get back in Brisbane.
Yeah,
and I'm sure once he's back, whether he's fully fit or not, we'll maybe see a little bit of a turnaround. The Cowboys also banking 2 points. They were there beating Canberra on the weekend, as we just spoke about before. So there's four free points off to Queensland. Your Dargans getting the bye, getting the rest after that loss against Manly.
Yeah, definitely weren't the best in that game, but it's been a little bit of a story of our season, really. A good performance one week and a pretty poor performance the next. Obviously, it wasn't good signs having Moses Sully ruled out in the warm-up.
Yep.
I think
he would have been,
since I heard that before the ball was kicked off, I was like, oh.
He would have been up for a big game against his old team.
Yeah, I just.
I actually think Jaden may have even made a remark about that possibly when we were watching. Really weird this game. We've obviously not a Sky user, not a Sky Go user. Rugbystreams.me, great website. You get about one little ad that pops up at the start, and then usually you can X out of them nice and easily. Watched it on my phone, I've watched it on a laptop, we watched it on an Xbox through the old browser on there, no qualms. And every stream that we picked for the first, must have been 15-20 minutes, the audio was about 15 seconds behind. And it took us about a minute and a half to actually realise at first. We were like, hold on, something's not right here, what's actually going on? And every stream we picked was the same, 15 seconds behind, which was quite hard to do at first. I believe, who scored the first try in that one? Did you guys score first, Zachy Lomax?
No.
Or was it your first try was Zachy Lomax?
Hey?
Lomax scored your first try?
I don't think so. He butchered a try. He dropped one, butchered. It was a tough effort to put it down anyway. But
maybe that's what it was. That was before, was it 0-0?
It was 6-0 to Manly.
That's 6-0. Might have been, maybe it was the Manly try then. But I swear there was points scored, and obviously we didn't see it on the TV until the next play. So that was quite unusual, but. Yeah, unfortunate one there for the Dragons. Eels also getting that 2 points after also coming off a loss, coming up short against the Chooks. Obviously, even with Mitch Moses back, it's a tough ask, that game there, but they're now equal with us and the Titans.
Yeah, it's turning into a shocker of a season for Parramatta there.
Sack your coach, and it doesn't get any better.
Still haven't seen any appointment from them as well, so interesting to see who comes out to be the new head coach there. They've definitely got a much better roster than where the position in the table is.
100%. They'll be very stoked to take that 2 points there this week, I'm sure. Penrith getting the bye, getting the 2 points that they don't really need. They got the win there up against the Knights on the weekend. Are we missing a team here?
What's that?
Are we missing a team here?
No.
We are. Newcastle just also, yeah. I was going to say, I didn't think we'd come across them. So both teams there in that game, Penrith and Newcastle, taking the 2 points. Penrith don't really need it. I think we could, you could maybe opt to go for no bye points for if you win the premiership, you win the final, the next year you don't get points for your bye. How's that for a new rule to bring in?
It's a bit rough.
6 points. You're basically -6 to start the season. We'll do that. We'll start you -6 and you get your 2 points for your bye.
Yeah, maybe if you win 3 in a row like Penrith have.
There you go. But the Knights, they'll be happy to take that freebie there after the loss. And then the Sharkies also will be pretty happy. Get a little rest after losing that. Again, another top 4 battle there that we had last week. What did you call it? The
Battle of the Sea Creatures?
Something, the Sea Creature, the Sea Creature Derby or something like that. So there we get the 2 points too, and what is a very small round of NRL footy, but it won't take long after that until we're into.
We do have under 19s.
Under 19s tomorrow.
Tomorrow night.
Yep.
And when's women's game 3? Next Thursday?
I don't think it's this week.
After the men. Oh,
that was under 19s there.
Under 19s, women and men back to back on Thursday. And then you got men and then women back to back.
So there is still.
So you're not missing out.
Not missing out too much.
On Thursday there.
But Friday you're holding out till 10 o'clock here.
Friday and Sunday you text the game.
Yeah, you're holding out for the later kickoffs there, but there is also obviously the Euros going on at the moment. We've seen that kickoff now. Is that every group has now played a game, I think, or have we got one more round of games tomorrow morning? Most of your teams that you're expecting to come away with the win have come away with the win. Obviously, saw Germany sort of go out there and play as expected. No, we've got one more group tomorrow: Turkey, Georgia, Portugal, and Czech. Still to play. Who's your team? Who did you draw?
I think I ended up with Serbia.
Lost
to England.
To England, that's right. My Hungarians obviously not able to get the job done up against Switzerland, but they got themselves a goal, which is good to see. We've seen a couple of upsets.
Yeah, I mean,
dubious. Have you seen anything of that?
What's that?
There was a goal disallowed. Lukaku scored an equaliser, right at the end, and it was disallowed by a handball. My mum told me about it. She said she saw it on TV this morning on the breakfast, and said that they were talking about how she didn't really know the rule, but how a handball can be either it's ball to hand or hand to ball. And she said this definitely looked like the ball went to his hands, and I was like, I don't know if the ball decided to do that, but I knew what she meant. So apparently, according to Mum, a dubious Slovakian win there, and what is I guess the only upset actually really, is it, of the tournament so far?
To be fair, probably the only upset. I think Denmark drawing is
Slovenia,
probably a big result for the Slovenians in that one. You probably would have backed the Danes.
Maybe Romania, Ukraine. It's only Romania's second ever
Romania
win.
Pulling off a 3-0 win is quite
against a strong Ukraine team, but it's also not a weak Romanian team. There's some big name players in that
squad. I think they've got a little bit of a golden generation going on. Certainly some names in that team, bro. You've got a Puskas, you've got a Stanchu. You've got a
Hagi.
Yeah, you've got Hagi.
No, maybe Hagi's not in this.
Yeah, he's in the.
Oh no, there he is. He came off the bench. Yeah, Hagi. You've got there's some very good players.
Big names.
You've got a Coman. I don't think he's Kingsley Coman's brother.
Definitely not.
But
some big names in that Romanian.
You've still got him in there. You've got a dude from Moldovan. He's obviously not even Romanian, and he's your bench keeper. So, but You've got one of the best young keepers in the world in that Ukrainian team, and to go out there and score 3 goals against him, Andrei Lunin,
But that Ukrainian team, they've definitely got a few good players in there, you know.
Zinny, Zabani, Shaparenko, Stepanenko still playing. How old's he? 34.
Mudryk,
Saigenkov, Mudryk, Dovbek up top, Yarmolenko, Yaremchuk. It's a good team.
That's a great team compared to what you think of Romanian teams, particularly of the past. But yeah, huge result for them. All the big guns sort of picking up wins. You touched on Germany, sort of as expected. Result-wise, maybe Scottish fans a little bit disappointed with the result. 5-1, pretty rough for them, but Germany, always going to be strong at home. Plenty of big names, and Jamal Musiala looks to be their shining talent. Hell of a player, so he'll be hard to stop. Spain also looking very, very good in their first up win.
I think they'll go well. I did a little
Lamine Yamal, bro.
He's in my fantasy team.
He's 16.
He's unreal.
Setting up goals on a plate.
I've done a little tournament bracket, and he loses in the final, unfortunately. If you wanted a little heads up, my tournament bracket did end up with France beating Spain in the final. It's quite cool with the old fourth best third place teams coming in there. So I think I had someone really outrageous in my round of 16 there. Slovakia, someone like that, and I thought this is pretty cool. Jay's, on the other hand, he'd gone a little bit more sort of, on a whim, I guess you could say, and he'd gone all out. I think he had someone like Slovakia, I think it might have been in the quarterfinals, which I just thought was crazy. Now, where are we? It was Slovakia. Spain beating Slovakia in the round of 16. Ukraine also involved. They won't be there now after shipping 3 goals to Romania. Turkey to lose to France. But you get down to those semi-finals, Spain, Portugal and France, Italy. There'd be 2 pretty tasty matchups there. That's with Croatia, Netherlands, Germany and England knocked down in the quarters.
Yep. Some huge calls there. We'll see how it all plays out. But look, Spain and Germany certainly looking the form side so far. England and France certainly not overly convincing.
Both will count themselves pretty lucky, I think.
Yeah, they're opening 1-0.
Especially France.
Although,
to win off an own goal.
Yeah, to win off an own goal is definitely very lucky. Considering you think that France come into the tournament as the hottest favourite. England probably in most people's sort of top 2 or 3 as
I think England were the bookies' favourites going into the tournament as always.
I think that's just a little bit biased. France probably with the experience of the World Cup winners littered throughout their squad. You probably back them to be the ones to lift it without a ball being kicked, but you might have to reevaluate that after round 1, although we bang on about it here. It's you don't want to be peaking too early.
Exactly.
It's not about peaking in the first game. You got to pick up enough points to get through to the knockout
let it play
stage,
out, exactly.
And then you want to start making that rise towards your peak, ideally in the final, depending on how things play out. But yeah, I think it shapes up to be what England playing someone like Spain in the quarters.
I think I had England losing to France. I think England are on the same.
Yeah,
it's that France, Croatia, Italy down that end of the draw. Whereas you got your Spain, Germany on the other side there. But also, I guess, does depend on who finishes first, who finishes second. So who knows what you get come knockout footy. All it takes is a little upset here or there. You got the likes of Belgium now losing. Does that put them into coming in a different position, being second or third place maybe? And still obviously plenty more footy to get into the last round there, as we said, of round 1 fixtures. It was, who did we say? Turkey versus Georgia, and Portugal up against Czech Republic.
Portugal will be a very, very tough side to stop as well, I think.
I was going to say Ronaldo's last international tournament, but probably not. I reckon he does another World Cup 2 years' time as like a token player sort of thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't see why not.
He's probably fit enough.
He's definitely fit enough.
He's got the ticker to go around again.
He's
probably
100% got the ticker, I think. Barring any huge injuries, and he'll be okay.
It'll be a loose sight seeing a 43-year-old. How old is he now?
Cristiano Ronaldo. I'm not too sure. It's only 2 years away, the World Cup.
Yeah.
Ronaldo is 39. He'd be 41.
He'd be 41. That's
a decent age.
Oldest player to be an outfielder at a World Cup territory.
Roger Miller. I want to say 46, something like that.
Yeah.
Oldest player at a World Cup. That's not how you spell that. So who's the oldest player to play at a World Cup? Essam Al-Hadari, 45 years. 161. He's not I'm assuming he's a goalie. Maybe Roger Miller, oldest goal scorer. Essam Al-Hadari, an Egyptian. What does it tell me about him? But I'm getting goalie vibes off that name. So, yeah, he was the goalie at the last World Cup. 2018 World Cup. That's right. We then had. And then another goalie was Colombia, Mondragon, 43 years, 3rd place. There you go, Roger Miller, 42 years and 39 days he was.
So Ronaldo's not far off.
It's not far off at all. I thought he was
in the territory. I wasn't saying he'd be number one, but he'd be in the area.
Fourth oldest player at a World Cup, 41 years and 0 days. So he'd be, well, this is, I don't know when this article, yeah, I'd say so. He would be the fourth.
At a World Cup on his 41st birthday.
Pat Jennings,
good on you. Happy 41st when you played at the World Cup.
Dino's off, there you go, there's another outfielder. The rest of them are all, everyone's keepers.
Yeah.
Atiba Hutchinson from Canada. How old was he there? 39 years and 288 days at the last World Cup. So that would be pretty cool considering it was their first World Cup in, 40 years or something like that, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, they'll give it a good crack, Belgium, I'm sure. But plenty more footy to be had before we get into knockout footy. There has been more international sport going on, not something that we really want to be talking about, but unfortunately we have to delve into it, and that is the 2020 World Cup. Two losses in a row to start off, threw us out pretty much. The Afghanistan loss kind of would put us in the shitter.
Yeah, we got pumped by Afghanistan, which we were always on the back.
Threw us out straight away. You then come up against the West Indies team who you're not really knowing what you're gonna get in against them. But again, too good. Terrible batting. When you look at the team list, it doesn't look like a 2020 team. It looks like a test team. Because it basically is the test team, you know what I mean? It's not too much different. Like if I'm in there, and I know you probably do want your best batsman at 3, but if you're going out there and you're having one of your openers get a duck every game, you chuck Devon Conway to open. Get him out there and let him just start scoring runs right from the start. Did Finn Allen get 2 ducks at this World Cup, or was it a duck and a 2 or something like that?
He's definitely a bit hit and miss.
He's been too much golf. I know he's very into his golf, so I think maybe too much time on the golf course. But we managed to get two other wins. We had
2 huge wins over
Uganda and PNG. The one win, I don't know if you saw that, Lockie Ferguson today.
4 maidens.
4 maidens and 3 wickets. That's the win you can take out of this World Cup for the Black Caps. plenty of talk on the radio, was it yesterday on my way home, about the possible need to switch up the coaching system of having, it's Gary Stead, isn't it? Gary Stead?
Yeah.
He's in charge of all 3 teams, and the possibility of maybe getting in a different coach to coach your 2020 team, coach your one day.
Possibly, yeah. I think it's definitely what all the big countries tend to be doing these days.
Maybe that's what we need to do, or is this the end of this sort of golden generation of cricket that we've sort of, That's another thing that I saw people talking about.
It definitely has been a golden generation for the Black Caps, particularly, I guess, in terms of ICC tournaments. It's not often that we don't go well in the last sort of 10-15 years or so, but there's still a lot of good players around. We'll just have to find the next crop of players coming through. Maybe look at that coaching setup. But yeah, I think we're always really going to be battlers.
I don't see anyone winning this apart from Aussie, really. I mean, I'd love to see USA go out there and win it. How fucking cool would that be?
Yeah, we're going to have to be picking our second teams now. So, USA, come Super 8 time, we'll be rocking them.
Bangladesh, they're a shout as well for a cool Super 8 team. Maybe not someone you were expecting to go in there. Or maybe you just have to bite your tongue and go for an Afghanistan. And even though they beat us, it's an unexpected nation to be in there, so it could be the way to go.
Yeah, I mean, no matter which way you want to go, you're not going to be able to go Black Caps come that Super 8, which is a bit of a bummer. But yes, should still be some good cricket if it falls in the good time zones there for you.
There'll be a couple of games to tune into there, I'm sure, over the next little wee while, which will be awesome. There was a little bit of darts on over the weekend as well. Now, they were off to Poland, Polish Darts Masters, and for what I think is his 6th title in 6 months. Luke Littler taking the win again. I saw he posted something on his Instagram saying that he hadn't slept, he hadn't picked up darts since the week before, and that the changing time zones was just messing with him, and he goes out there and takes the win, which is pretty cool to see. Up against I want to say off Rob Cross. He didn't look like what he had been over the last couple of months, where he's been going out and winning events, and probably lucky to get there as well, Luke. He had a tough game up against Peter Wright in the quarterfinals. I think Peter Wright averaged like 107 point something, nearly 108, and then survived match darts up against Michael Smith in the semis. They go to Germany this weekend, I believe. The European Darts Open, and Hopes is involved, which is good to see. Sort of goes over the 3 days, and you've got a big field of players there. So hopefully see him get a couple of. It doesn't actually really matter if it's. I was going to say an easy draw. He went out and bet Chisnell and Aspinall last weekend. So if he can go out and do something like that, I'd love to see him make the final day. Go out there and make the round of 16. I believe it's your final day there at a European Open like that. It'd be bloody amazing. He'd get a good little chunk of money on the Order of Merit. What did I say? He was sitting at 109. So got a bit of work to do. I think he's sitting at £8,500 at the moment, but he goes out there and doubles that, wins another 8.5k. I don't know what the prize money is for a tournament like that, but you're looking about that. If you make top 16, maybe top 32, so if he can double his money, he's looking at jumping up to somewhere around the 90 mark, 85, 90 mark. So all it takes is a couple of good tournaments, and he pushes his way up there. And I'm more just keen to see him play some good darts in this run into the World Cup. A couple of weeks away now, and then it's time, a little bit of a national glory. We haven't seen the Black Caps do it, but maybe we can see Ben Robb and Hopes bring it home for the I don't know what they're called, the Kiwi darts team.
It'll be a big ask, that's for sure.
quick little shout out just before we finish, talking of national glory, shout out to the All Whites today, bagging a 3-0 win. I think New Caledonia we played, I can't remember, New Caledonia or Vanuatu. Ben Wayne scoring himself a double, and Costa Barbarossa, I think we're 3-0 up by half time in that one there. But as always, if you've made it this far, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for getting involved, however you may do. Remember to get involved in all your socials. Give us a like, a 5-star, a comment, a subscription. Enjoy your week ahead. Enjoy your shortened NRL round. Don't forget about your 2 under-19 games there on Thursday. If you're having a punt, do so responsibly, and hopefully we'll see you here next week.
Yep, we sure will. See you then.
Ciao.
Marshall skips away. Marshall skips away. Marshall's still going. Marshall's got Richards coming up outside. Now inside.
Arsenal have gone through an entire league campaign without losing.
Bennett and the Dragons win the grand final.
Whips that one away, and Kane Williamson and his team now World Test champions.